Just wanted to show you guys that I finally got the roof on the cabin. I didn't buckle down the far end because I'm going to need to slide up underneath there when I put the additions onto it, but it was a pretty windy day today and it wasn't flopping around or none, so I think just the few rows of screws there will hold it in place just fine. The only trick with these is if you look at these little, if it'll focus here, these barn screws, they got a little washer underneath where you want to tighten it down, but not too tight that you're mangling that washer, just enough to kind of make it waterproof. So you got to watch the torque on your drill as you do that. Other than that, it's pretty simple. I haven't finished the tip out yet because I got to burst through the roof to put the wood stove running through there, so I'm kind of do that roof simultaneously while I do the wood stove. But yeah, I'm happy to have gotten this done. It might sound pretty funny, but I've got a pretty extreme fear of heights. So it was very difficult for me to put the roof on this. And you might say, well, that's not very tall, but when you got an extreme phobia, it's still pretty nerve-wracking. But you know, that's part of homesteading, is just getting over your fears and overcoming it. So I just took extra safety precautions, especially since I'm out here alone. So if something bad happened, it would become really bad real quick. So I just took it nice and slow and just used extra safety, and it went fine. I also had filled in the couple of points up there in between the rafters. There was airspace in there, so I just put some plywood up in there, and it's not the prettiest, but gets the job done, closes it in. I can come back later and pretty it all up. I figure I'll wait until all three of the additions are built before I bother with painting or trim or anything, because the extra living and storage space will be infinitely more valuable to me than cosmetics are. The only trim I did put up was around the door here, and that was because there was in between the rough framing and the pre-hung door, there was a little gap there around it that I can just feel cold air coming in on us at night. So I was like, yeah, I'll close that part up. But beyond that, I can just wait to trim it out. And there's a bunch of spots where like the vapor barrier sticking out. I got to go back and trim it and all kinds of stuff, but that can wait for another day. Let's focus on getting it closed in here. When professionals install metal roofing, they put that nice trim all the way around it and everything, but this ain't the suburbs. You know, we just let it overhang over the roof, and it's perfectly fine like that. If uh, impressing people is an important thing to you, then homesteading probably isn't the life for you anyways. So, and that's the thing, is a lot of more experienced carpenters than I am will rip apart everything I've done, but that doesn't matter. What does matter is that I've built a survivable living structure. You know, I had limited tools, limited resources, just what I can get at the local small town hardware store by myself, you know. So I feel good having done this. And it gives me confidence for in the future, no matter what happens in my life, I know that I can always build a survivable structure for myself or loved ones or whatever. And again, I always stress, most importantly, I've been able to do this all completely debt free. And that's just the best way to be.